Imagine an entire Roman legion, thousands of heavily armed soldiers, marching into the mist of northern Britain. They were trained to fight. A Roman legion functioned as a self-contained military machine, trained to build massive fortifications, operate heavy siege engines, and move as a coordinated force. Among these formations was the Ninth Legion, Legio IX Hispana. They carried the authority of Rome into the farthest reaches of the empire. In AD 43, Emperor Claudius launched the massive Roman invasion of Britain. The Ninth was a core component of this force, tasked with subduing a landscape of dense forests and relentless rain. For the Mediterranean soldiers, the island was an alien world. The terrain favored local tribes, who knew every hidden path and river crossing. The legion proved its resilience, surviving the massive uprising led by the Iceni Queen Boudica and eventually establishing a permanent stronghold at York. By the turn of the century, the Ninth was a battle-hardened force positioned on the edge of the known world, making their subsequent disappearance one of history's greatest anomalies. Beyond the Roman frontier lay territory that the empire struggled to hold. The northern tribes resisted expansion, forcing the border to shift back and forth for decades. The soldiers at York were thousands of kilometers from the center of Roman power, stationed in a cold, isolated landscape far from the support of the Mediterranean. Sometime during the early 2nd century, the record of the Ninth Legion simply stops. During the reign of Emperor Hadrian, the legion's name disappears from official military registries and stone inscriptions. For an empire that obsessed over documenting its military strength, the lack of a final battle report, a list of survivors, or a mass grave is a significant administrative gap. One prominent theory suggests the Ninth marched north from York and was utterly destroyed by local tribes in the wilderness. This scenario envisions thousands of soldiers moving through hostile territory, their tight formations vulnerable to the unpredictable terrain of the north. An ambush in the woods would have been catastrophic. Formations would have broken, officers would have been cut down, and the legion's standards would have been lost to the mud. This violent end has dominated modern storytelling, appearing in books and films as the definitive fate of the lost legion. But there is a problem with the massacre theory. Archaeologists have never found a battlefield, a cache of Roman weapons, or a mass grave in the north to support it. While a sudden destruction in the mist makes for a compelling story, the physical evidence for such an event is non-existent. Recent excavations have found details that contradict the idea that the Ninth was wiped out in Britain. Roman military units were frequently moved. A legion could serve in Britain for one generation and be transferred thousands of kilometers away the next. The empire stretched from Spain to Syria. Legions were routinely shifted to reinforce the borders along the Rhine and the Danube to meet new threats. Physical evidence shows Legio VI Victrix moving into the Ninth's old quarters at York, while inscriptions found on the continent suggest members of the Ninth were active elsewhere. Officers who served in the Ninth have been recorded later in their careers in different provinces, and tile stamps bearing the Legion's mark have appeared in the Netherlands. This suggests the unit was redeployed and likely met its end in a later, undocumented conflict on the continent. If the Ninth left Britain, the search for their final moments moves from the bogs of Scotland to the vast expanse of the entire Roman world. If the Legion survived its time in Britain, why is there no clear record of its ultimate decommissioning or defeat? Ancient history survives only in fragments. We rely on the small percentage of documents and monuments that manage to endure for 20 centuries. Time is a destructive force. Wooden records rot, stone inscriptions repurposed for buildings, and archives lost to fire. The silence in the records doesn't necessarily indicate a cover-up. It is more likely a result of the simple loss of paperwork over 2,000 years. Somewhere beneath a modern field or a European city, the final clue may still be buried: a discarded helmet or a burial stone that could provide the missing date. The Ninth Legion achieved a unique status in history precisely because they vanished. Their story transformed from a military record into a permanent mystery. Even the most powerful empire in the world could not preserve every name and every battle. Until then, the Ninth remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of the Roman world, a legion that may have vanished, but never disappeared from history. This was the mystery of the lost Ninth Roman Legion.